beginner's flow and how I will teach that, and we'll just get into it. So welcome to our beginner's flow. This is going to be a short 20-minute flow that is just going to begin to teach you what it's like to be in a Vinyasa class. Maybe a nice little home practice if you haven't had a chance to go to a studio, and just give you a quick little workout, quick little time to get your body moving. I like to start all of my classes with my essential oils. One of my favorite combos to start is wild orange and peppermint. So I will take a drop of peppermint, and I use doTERRA essential oils, wild orange. I prefer doTERRA because of the purity. It's the only brand I'll use in my home. And then I'll rub my hands together, cup them over my nose, and I'll take 3 deep breaths. So if you don't have essential oils at home, you can just take your hands to your lap and take 3 deep breaths here with me. And after your 3rd deep breath, if you have the essential oils, you're just gonna go ahead and rub that into the back of your neck. We'll place our essential oils off to the side, and then we're gonna go into child's pose to start. So to start, you're gonna bring your big toes to touch, your knees wide. So working towards the width of your mat, depending on where your hips are. The wider your knees go, the more it opens your hips. The more narrow your knees go, the more it opens your low back. And we'll just begin to walk our hands out. If you have tightness in your hips and your back and your head doesn't quite make it to the floor, you can use a block and let your head come rest on that block so it's more comfortable. If your head does make it to the floor, just let your forehead come down to the floor. And we'll take 5 breaths here. So you're going to focus on breathing in and out through your nose. So big inhales through your nose. Big exhale, and just begin to let your hips sink deeper towards your heels. And on your next inhale, you're just gonna lift your chest and your hands a little bit, and you're gonna walk your hands over to your left. You'll let your right hand come rest on top of your left and your head come back down to the ground. You'll feel a stretch through the right side body here, and just breathe for a few moments. Your next inhale will bring you all the way back through center and over to the right with your left hand resting on top of your right, pulling that left sit bone back down towards your heels, breathing here. Go ahead and walk your way back into center, and then you'll make your way up to a tabletop pose. So for table, we're going to stack our shoulders directly over our wrists and our hips directly over our knees. Opening your fingers nice and wide, pushing through all 10 fingers, and find a lift in the back of your chest and a gentle tuck in your chin. Your navel draws in, so don't let your belly drop and your bum stick up. Navel draws in. And from here, just shift your hips side to start, just kind of getting the bearing of being on your hands and feet. Or your hands and knees, actually, not your hands and feet. So come back to table and we'll move through some cow-cats. So for this, on your next inhale, you're going to lift your hips, drop your belly, lift your gaze, bring your chin towards parallel with the mat, and press your heart through your shoulders. Exhale, curl and round, chin to chest, navel in, and then we move through that. Inhale, we lift our gaze, lift our hips. Exhale, we curl and round. 2 more times, breathing through this. Last one. Coming back to a neutral spine, we'll draw that navel back in. So again, a nice straight line of energy. And we're going to try our balance here. So we're going to step our left foot back. Option to keep that left toe on the ground, or if you feel stable enough, you can begin to lift your left foot off of the ground. When you lift that foot off the ground, just make sure you aren't arching into your back. If you are, keep it wherever you can go without finding that arch. Maybe you walk your right hands out forward and tap those fingertips onto the mat, or maybe you lift that hand up by your ear. We'll take another inhale here, and then exhale, curl and round. I want you to tap your elbow to your knee and squeeze them together. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, squeeze them together. One more time. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, lengthen. And then exhale, release. We'll do the same thing on the other side, and I'll show you what that would look like if I had my knee and my hand down. So we'll step that right foot back. Maybe you lift it, maybe it stays down. And then you extend your left hand forward. Maybe you lift it, maybe it stays down. Take one more inhale here. And then exhale, you're just gonna bring them towards each other. You can even keep your foot on the mat if that makes you feel more comfortable. Or just curl your right knee in, maybe even leave your left hand down. So all kinds of options. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, curl. Or inhale, lengthen. Exhale, come in. Last time. Lengthen and release. From here, we're going to make our way back into downward facing dog. So your hands stay open and firm on the ground, your toes tuck. Lift your knees off of the mat, draw your navel in. Try to press your abdominals back to your thighs and bring your gaze between your big toes. This is crouching down dog. From here, you can start to straighten through your legs, maybe working your heels towards the ground. One day you'll be able to straighten through the legs. But most importantly, I don't want you rounding in your back, so if you need to bend your knees to find length in your spine, go ahead and do that. When you get to down dog, just pedal your feet left to right, opening up through your legs. Find some stillness here in down dog. You're pushing through all 10 fingers, and the eyes of your elbows are turning towards the front of your mat. On an inhale, look forwards towards your hands, and then gently, with bent knees, walk your hands up, or your feet up behind your hands. Bend in those knees, let your abdominals connect to your thighs, and if it feels okay, you can grab for opposite elbows and let your head hang heavy. Maybe you like to sway side to side, or shake your head yes and no. Just do what feels good for you here. Keep breathing, feel the release in your low spine. And then we'll let our hands come back down to the mat, and we're gonna bring our big toes to touch and keep a small space between your heels. If that causes discomfort in your spine, you can go ahead and keep your feet hips width distance apart. On an inhale, you're gonna bring your fingertips to your shins, draw your shoulders down your back, tuck your chin, and find a halfway lift. Stay for the exhale. One more inhale here. And then exhale, we fold. Generous bend in the knees as much as you need. Inhale again, just one breath, halfway lift. Exhale, we fold. On an inhale, keeping a gentle bend in your knees, bring your hands up overhead, and then exhale, your hands come to heart center. Mountain pose. We'll release our hands down by our sides. And here, just take a few moments to close your eyes and feel what it feels like to be standing still, firing through your legs, your core engaged. I'll turn back towards the front so you can follow me. From here, we'll inhale our hands up overhead. And then exhale, we're gonna hinge forward, gentle bend in the knees. Inhale, halfway lift, find length and space. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep your arms up overhead. And exhale, hands to heart center, half sun salutations. Inhale those hands up overhead. And exhale, we hinge at our hips, gentle bend in the knees. Last time, inhale, halfway lift, find length and space. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep your arms up overhead. And exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, hands up overhead. Exhale, we hinge. Inhale, halfway lift, find length and space. Exhale, this time plant your palms and step back to the top of a plank or with your knees on the ground, a half plank. Wherever you are, your tailbone is tucked under, you have length in your spine, your chin is tucked under and long. You're in one long line of energy, whether your knees are on the mat or not. From here, we'll take an inhale, and then exhale, we're gonna lower all the way down to our bellies, keeping our elbows in by our sides. Roll those shoulders down and back. Your forehead can come to the mat, maybe find a little length in your legs. Try to get the arch out of your back and tuck your tailbone under, and on an inhale, we'll lift into baby cobra. Maybe your hands float. We'll stay here for our breath. Exhale, you're gonna release your head back down, tuck your toes, press up to a table on an inhale or to the top of a plank, and on an exhale, make your way back to downward facing dog. Staying here for 3 breaths. So that is option 1 when we take a vinyasa, is lowering all the way down and doing cobra. We're gonna stay with that one today. Let's inhale your heels high, look forward. Exhale, take your time, step your feet up behind your hands, big toes to touch. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep your arms up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, hands up overhead. Exhale, hinge. Inhale, halfway lift, find length and space. Exhale, plant your palms, step back to a plank again. Either knees on the ground or not, we're nice and long. And then we lower all the way down to the ground. Untuck those toes, inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, lower. Inhale, push up to a table or a plank. And exhale, down dog. From here, let's take our right leg and lift it towards the ceiling, wherever you're comfortable. So maybe it's just a small lift. Maybe you can lift it up nice and high. I want you to keep your hips stacked instead of letting them kind of flop. I want them to remain level with each other instead of open. So try to keep them level. Try to keep your toes pointed down to the ground. Equal weight through both hands. On an exhale, bring your knee towards your nose and trying to step it up between your hands. If you have trouble getting it there, maybe you get it halfway there and you use your right hand to help you the rest of the way. That's completely okay. We're gonna move into crescent pose. Option to keep your back knee on the ground here if you'd like a little bit more support. From here, lift your back leg if you'd like and bring your hands to your hips for your first crescent. Drawing your tailbone under, sinking deep into your front leg. Your hands come up overhead and we breathe. Find a little more depth in your front knee. Last inhale. Exhale, we open up warrior 2. Deep bend in that front knee. If you notice, my hips are working towards level with each other, not letting that back hip hike up. So working towards level, find the depth, arms out long, gaze over your front hand. Be here for 2 breaths, working on firing those legs up, squeezing your inner thighs towards one another. And your next inhale, flip your front palm, and we'll reverse our warrior. Lengthen through that right arm. Gaze up towards your right hand if you can. Last inhale. Exhale, your hands come down to the mat. Inhale, step back to a plank or a kneeling plank. Good. Inhale to shift your weight a little forward. And exhale, lower to your belly. Inhale, open up through your chest, baby cobra. Exhale, lower. Inhale, push back up to the top of a plank or a table. And exhale, downward facing dog. Notice the difference between the left and the right side of your body after just a few poses. And we'll do that on the left side. So again, lift that left heel this time just as high as you can. And trying not to stack those hips, trying to keep them level with one another. Good, your next exhale is gonna bring your knee in towards your nose and you're going to step that foot between your hands. Option to drop your back knee here. And we'll meet at the top with our hands at our hips. Crescent pose on the other side. Find a little depth in your front knee. Maybe your hands come up overhead. Being careful not to dump into your low spine, but drawing your navel in. You can bend your back leg to get there. Last inhale. And then exhale, warrior two with your left leg forward. Find depth in that front knee. Again, your hips are working towards level. Gaze is over your front middle finger. Flip your front palm. Inhale, reverse your warrior. It's lengthening, not dumping. Find that lift. And exhale, your hands are going to come down to the mat. You're going to step back to the top of a plank or a kneeling plank. We'll lower all the way to our bellies. Inhale, lift into baby cobra. Exhale, lower. Inhale, push back up through a table or a plank. And exhale, make your way back to downward facing dog. We're gonna flow through that one time. One breath per movement on both sides. So take a big inhale here. And exhale, let it go. Inhale your right leg high to the sky. Exhale, step that foot between your hands. Inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, hands to the mat. Inhale, step it back. Exhale, lower all the way down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, lower. Inhale, plank or table. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, step that foot between your hands. Inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, warrior two. Gaze over your left fingers. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, hands to the mat. Inhale, step it back. Exhale, lower all the way. Inhale, lift through your chest. Exhale, lower. Inhale, top of a plank or a table. Exhale, down dog. Taking a big inhale here and a big exhale here. From here, we're gonna drop down to our knees. And we're just gonna let our legs come out long in front of us. Moving any flesh from under your sit bones. We'll take our hands up overhead and exhale with a long spine, folding just as far as you can with the length in your spine. So you might not make it very far right now. We're just opening a little bit more into the hamstrings. And your next exhale, you're going to round your chin, round your back, and just release into your fold. You might need to bend your knees to do that. That's okay. Maybe you could reach for your feet. If you'd like to take a block and you have one and rest your forehead on it, you could absolutely do that. We'll be here for 3 more breaths. Your inhale is going to lift you all the way back up. And then we'll take our hands behind us, make sure we're scooted forward all the way on our mat. Using your core or your arms, you're going to lower down to your back. And when you get down on your back, you're just gonna bring your knees into your chest and you can rock side to side. From here, I want you to release your left leg and keep your right knee in towards you. Pulling that right knee up towards your shoulder. Maybe taking some hip circles with that right knee. Taking some big deep breaths while you're here. And then you'll guide that right knee across your body. So you're gonna take your right arm and extend it out long. Guide that right knee across your body using your left hand. Maybe it makes it to the ground. Maybe it doesn't. You can keep your left hand on that knee or you can extend it out. And maybe your gaze starts to fall to your right. So find your level that you're comfortable with. If you're not feeling very comfortable releasing that leg down, you can always use a block to make the ground closer to that leg and just give you a little bit more support. So that's always an option here. Breathing wherever is comfortable for you. Your next inhale is going to bring you back through center. Bring both your knees in and just gently rocking side to side, massaging your low back. Releasing your right leg, keeping your left leg in. Taking those little hip circles with that left knee. And then you'll take your right hand, release your left to the ground, guide your right leg across your body. Maybe close your eyes here. Maybe that right arm comes off and you just use the weight of that left leg to twist. Your next inhale is going to bring you back to center, giving yourself a little squeeze. You're going to place your feet on the ground, close to your glutes, close to your bum. Your arms are going to extend long. Roll those shoulders down and back, and on an inhale, tuck your tailbone and lift one vertebra at a time into a bridge pose. We're going to breathe here. If you have a block and you'd like to take a supported bridge, you can take it on any of the 3 levels. So maybe level 1 with it on the smallest level. Maybe you flip it up and take it on level 2. Or maybe you flip it all the way and take it on level 3. Or if you don't have a block, just keep your legs lifted, or your hips lifted, and breathe here. For 3, 2, 1. If you are on a block, lift your hips and remove the block. If you are not on a block, begin to lower one vertebra at a time down to your back. Bringing your knees in towards your chest, squeezing everything in nice and tight into a big ball. And with an exhale, you'll release out into your Shavasana, your corpse pose. For Shavasana, your legs are nice and wide, about as wide as your mat. Your arms are open, your palms are up, and you should let your eyes come to a gentle close. You're going to spend as much time as you can here, maybe 5-10 minutes. And when you're all done with that, you'll slowly make your way up to a seat. So please enjoy the rest of your Shavasana if you have time. If not, namaste. It was a pleasure to guide you through this 20-minute beginner's flow. And Facebook world, that's just a little taste of what's coming in the yoga program, so keep your eyes peeled. I'm excited to launch it for you guys. I've been getting so many questions about it and so much interest in it, so I can't wait to have this resource available for all of you amazing people out there.